Lives Matters here. We have Sherri Harding in Ottawa in Canada. Hello there. How are you getting on?
I'm fabulous. And how are you?
I'm not too bad myself. Pretty fabulous. Right, let's go way back.
Oh,
Why did you want to be a musician in the first place? And what's the backstory to Sherri Harding being a singer?
my goodness. Okay. So I never remember a time where I didn't want to. We have a song on the first record called Headlong into Sundown. And basically that tells the story of, I think, all musicians. It's like you don't choose to be a musician. It kind of chooses you. And I remember my parents had a used furniture store when I was 4 years old. And I would stand on the tables and sing for the customers for pennies. When I was born, my parents had, my mom had 8 kids. When I was born, I was the baby, and there were teenagers in the house. So there was always music of one sort or another, boys and girls, and that's different music when you're a teenager, right? Especially during the 70s. And my dad liked old country, Merle Haggard, Johnny Cash stuff, and my mom loved Mario Lanza and opera. So I kind of got everything growing up. So I didn't stand a chance. Music-wise, it was going to happen. And I just, was always in choirs and things at school. And one day I was babysitting. I have a nephew who's 3 years younger than me. So I was babysitting at my brother's house, and he had this dusty, old, cheap guitar that was there. And I said, "Can I borrow that guitar?" And I got a Mel Bay book and just sat in my room for hours and tortured my friends. Look at E minor. I learned E minor. So it just, it was kind of something that I always was compelled to do, and I would buy records at garage sales, and, just, I would put the record on my hand-me-down record player and put the 2 speakers facing each other. And do you remember those cassette recorders? And you had to press, right? So I would actually, let me think about this. I would put headphones on and I would record myself singing along with like Linda Ronstadt or, trying to think, Hart or various other artists. And then I would play it back and kind of critique myself and learn, because we didn't have money for lessons or anything like that. So if I was going to do it, it was me. It was on me to make it happen. And I tried my best, and here I am 30 years later, having played, all across Canada and in Europe and a little bit in the States. And there you are.
And what about first time being on stage? Can you remember that and how you felt?
Well, I had a fabulous music teacher in grade 7. I don't know what that means. I was about 12, 13 years old. And what he would do is beginning of the year, he put it out because we had instrumental music and vocal music, and I was lucky that way. And he put it out to all the kids, is if you want to sing something at the concert, let me know. And we have this, it's called MPTF. It's Music Performance Trust Fund. So the local musicians union, you can apply for whatever, and then union will actually pay for musicians to come. So the very first time that I sang solo versus being in the choir and whatnot, I had a full band with horn section and,
Wow.
and, drums and bass player, guitar player, keyboard player. And I remember I performed, it was an Anne Murray song, the version that I did, but it was a Monkees song. Davy Jones sang as a Daydream Believer. And I had the whole horn section and everything. It was just so cool. Caught the bug completely. And he would work with us towards that and practice with the microphone and all this kind of thing. And scared stiff, but I was lucky because there was another girl who was more afraid than I was. So I took it upon myself to think, it's going to be fine. We're just going to do it will be great. Meanwhile, me comforting her actually helped bring down my anxiety. Yeah, totally caught the bug, and then was in basement bands all through high school. And as soon as I was old enough to play in bars, which are what they call age of majority here is 19. So I ad in the newspaper, found a band, went and auditioned, and started playing in bars here, which was an interesting experience. I found out, as any road musician realizes, it's not necessarily the music business, and that it's more the bar business. But sort of, learned my chops and
And
went on
what
the
sort of
road.
songs were you singing? What kind of style of songs you were singing?
In that, well, it was kind of whatever that band kind of wanted to
Right.
do. And my voice was not my singing voice, but my opinion voice was pretty small at that point. So I kind of went along with it. But there were two keyboard players in that band, so we did like Peter Gabriel and Genesis, and
Right.
although there was a Supertramp. But we did a set of material that was all kind of Motown R&B stuff, and that was like, okay, this is more like it. And I think I talked them into doing some Eurythmics, and so yeah, it was a good experience. Like that band worked quite a bit, so I got my my feet soaking wet.
And when was really your big break, would you say, that you thought,
Well,
I've made
I
it?
don't know.
This is...
I don't know if I've had it yet. But I started seeing, like, I've been a journeyman musician. We call them jobbers forever, and done all kinds of different scenarios of gigs. But I started singing. I started as a backup singer for a group here called the Cooper Brothers, and I don't know how much exposure they had where you are, but they were pretty big here, and they had their record deal. They're from Ottawa. They had their record deal out of Capricorn Records out of Macon, Georgia. They had songs Dream Never Dies, Rock and Roll Cowboys, I'll Know Her When I See Her, Show Some Emotion. So they were kind of a big deal here. I had worked with their keyboard player for years and years on other projects, and when they needed a couple of girls, it's like, well, get Sherri, and so I got to meet the boys, and it wasn't long. I went from the back, just doing the backup girl singer thing, to they realized I could actually play as well, and I play flute and play guitar, and so I was now on the front line singing a couple of leads with them, and now they're on my record. It was the big joke. It's like, so soon it'll be Sherri Harding featuring the Cooper Brothers. And well,
what did you feel like when you were moving to the front of the stage instead of the back of the stage?
oh, it was fabulous. I mean, and even that first show that I played with them as a backup singer, it was like the most wonderful feeling because even at my first time at rehearsal with them, you could sort of tell there was an elevation. And I played with some very good musicians to that point, but it was just different. I remember having the same feeling, odd little aside, but I was up in Yellowknife, Northwest Territories, and sat in with this R&B band that were playing across the street from where I had gone to visit a friend. Anyway, and it was like, this is what it's supposed to feel like.
Right.
And it was the same kind of next level elevation when I first played with the Cooper Brothers, and then getting to be out front, it was really something special. I practiced a lot to make sure that I was up to it, but because I still get, I wouldn't say nervous. You want to have a little bit of something to kind of charge. And it's not anxiety, or I don't know how to articulate it, but anyway, yeah, it was wonderful. And they're such great guys, really they are. I'm officially a Cooper sister now, and they've been so great. Dick Cooper, who was the guitar player and like the songwriter for the Cooper Brothers, wrote all the tunes for my record, both records actually, and produced both records as well.
Right.
And Brian was there for all the demos for the first one. We recorded the first record, which is 1,000,000 Pieces, down in Muscle Shoals, Alabama. Brian and his wife actually drove down just to hang out with us at the studio. They're just, I've been embraced by the Cooper universe, and I
Right.
so appreciate it.
Okay, moving on, you've got a new album coming out, Storyland.
I do. Yay! Is it backwards?
Right, tell us what the recording process was like, because the first album you made was in Muscle Shoals.
That's right.
This one was totally different. Tell us about the production.
Well, to be honest with you, we really wanted to go back We had such a great experience the first time recording down in Muscle Shoals. But political climate has changed a little bit, and so that became difficult. So we did everything here, and which was fantastic. As I said, the first record doing in Muscle Shoals, we had the last surviving swamper. We heard Muscle Shoals has got the swampers. David Hood played bass guitar on the first record, but Brian Cooper played bass on this record. And Brian's a great bass player. And so we did it here at Audio Valley Recording Studios. And again, to tie in the Muscle Shoals thing, because we couldn't go down, we thought we'd take a shot and ask Kelvin Holly, who played guitar on the first record, if he would consider coming up to Ottawa, to Canada, for a week and record on the session. And he said yes. And just a lovely gentleman. Kelvin Holly played like 20 years on the road with Little Richard. He was in The Amazing Were the Maces, amongst other things, other projects. And he, people don't realize the financial output for making a record these days, unless you do it in your, on your home computer, which is not quite what I wanted to do. Anyway, so I offered to put Kelvin up in hotel for the week, and I said, you could stay at my house, and I've got a futon in the basement, and I'll stay at your house, no problem. Thank you, Kelvin. So it was great. He stayed here, and we took care of him for the week, tried to show him around as much as we could, but it was like boom, boom, boom in the studio. We had done demos prior, so everything was very well organized. We made all the decisions we needed to make based on the demos. It's like, oh, that's the wrong key, or that's the, not quite the ending we're looking for, that kind of thing. That said, Glenn added his own sort of secret sauce to everything. We changed a few things on the fly, and I couldn't be happier with how things turned out, to be honest. Funny enough, Dick Cooper wrote all the songs and produced the record. He's a brilliant guitar player. He didn't play a note on the record. We had another guitar player, Robert Farrell, he's an incredible blues guitar player. He's got this method. He's patented. He uses 4 slides at the same time when he's playing. It's crazy. But anyway, so Rob Farrell was on it. All of the guys from the Cooper brothers were on it. Jeff Rogers on keyboards, and we had Clayton Connell also, like, on organ. We rented a B3 just to get, and also, as well as having Kelvin from down south, again from the first album, we kind of fell in love with the Muscle Shoals horn section. And so I think we did 4 tracks, I think. We sent down, and they recorded them down at the Nut House recording studio, which is where we recorded the first one. And it was Charles Rose with the Muscle Shoals horns. And they added you take something that I think is pretty special to start with, and just adding all these little embellishments and layers. And Charles Rose, look the Muscle Shoals horns credits one day. I think I'm in pretty decent company. Elton John, yeah. Paul McCartney, John Lennon, it's like kind of hard to believe, but pretty cool.
Talk about some of the songs.
Yeah.
Right. The first song, All Around the World Tonight. Where did that come from?
Well, as I said, Dick wrote all of the songs, so I can't claim any of them. But right. That said, we learned a lot from the first album in working together, and Dick writing more for my singing style, my voice, and, the range and that kind of thing. So, these songs specifically for me, which is wonderful. All Around the World is it's kind of an uplifting, positive song, in that there's, people are just trying to get by. There's so much to worry about, but there's also a lot of beauty in the world if you just open your eyes to it. You kind of have to do that to survive as a human. There's the quote unquote stop and smell the roses, but it's true. There's beauty in everything, and as much as like we're slogging through day to day, there's people still have dreams and aspirations and love and family and hope. There's still hope. There is.
It's a very feel-good album itself. I mean, there's so many styles. What would you say the style was?
I think it runs, it's definitely R&B bluesy
Mhm.
leaning. With the thing about it is we didn't write, or say we didn't write, Dick didn't write, and we didn't want the record to fit. We just he wrote songs, and we wrote songs that that gelled with us, and not trying to make them fit in any particular song style
Mm.
per se. So there's some jazzy stuff, like the song Dark Eyed Jungle, very jazzy, kind of almost Jobim esque. But the horn songs, so like All Around the World and Money Man, are with kind of very, not, I wouldn't quite say Motowny, but more I say more really Muscle Shoals
Mm.
esque. And there's a duet on it called Through It All, which is very sort of standard blues progression
Yeah.
duet with Jeff Rogers. So there's a little bit of everything on this record, I would say.
I talk about Through It All. How did that come about?
Well, Dick had written this great song. I think it's a great song. When we were every song starts out with Dick singing. I'm going to blackmail him with these one day, but it's like Dick singing with an acoustic guitar and recording. It's like, hey, I've got this new song,
Yeah.
and as we're going through it, it's like, this would be really great as a duet. And Jeff Rogers, who also sings with the Cooper Brothers, he's got his own solo career as well, and he's just a wonderful singer. He's a little bit of Joe Cocker-ish, a little bit of Ray Charles-ish in there, and so we asked Jeff if he would sing it with me as a duet, and he was very happy to do it. I've done a few shows kind of helping back up Jeff as well, so we're really familiar with working together, and he did a fantastic job. I'm really happy with how that one turned out.
And Bad Weather?
Bad Weather.
That would,
Similar in a way that it's as all around the world, but Bad Weather, I think, is struck Dick when I don't know if it's because we're more attuned globally to what's going on than maybe 50, 30, 20 years ago we might have been. But, although we've had wildfires here in Western Alberta, wildfires in California, all the tsunami and earthquakes and tornadoes and all this, all the stuff kind of as a metaphor, everything else that's going on in life. And it's just a little bad weather. It's surely going to pass. So to say, kind of in an environmental song in a way, that we need to wake up to what we're doing to the planet, but also, I think just politically and what we're going through in life, it's like, this too shall pass. There's a song on the previous record called Coral Reef, and it's kind of similar themes insofar as the environmental aspect of it. But often, I think when Dick writes, it's never one meaning, and
no.
he's got a great way of articulating it in that once a song leaves you, he can tell you he's reluctant to tell you what he's thinking really about when he's writing. But it's like, well, it's whatever you think it is. It's whatever meaning you put it, however you relate to it. That's what it means.
Yeah, I mean, isn't that the meaning of a song anyway? Isn't it really?
Mm-hmm. He's got
and your love song, the "What's the Matter with My Heart" as well.
Yeah, it's well, yeah, maybe a love song, maybe anti-love song. Of it's a kind of I fall too easy, I'll fall too fast. Should have known right from the start. What's the matter with my heart? It's searching for that special someone, searching for love in this crazy world when people it's hard to find someone who's quite genuine, and walls come up and trust issues and all that kind of thing. So, and I think that's pretty universal. People tend to I don't know, it's easy to hide behind a keyboard in some ways nowadays. It's people don't meet one another organically very often, and now it's so different than when I don't know, you and I look to be about the same vintage, so there was no internet when I was
No,
coming up. We had we had 3 channels on the TV, which you had to go up and turn physically and play with
physically
rabbits.
turn it on, I know.
Yeah, but yeah, it's what's the matter with my heart? It's about trust, I guess, and trusting too soon.
And tell me your mind.
That's a real love song in my opinion. Tell me what I want to hear. Tell me love's gonna shine. Just where you connecting and you finally meet that special person, and it's like, okay, I don't want to screw it up. I don't want to say things too soon. Yeah, I that's a beautiful song. I'd love to hear Alison Krauss record that, actually.
And don't push on an open door.
A lot of love songs I'm realizing. Similarly, it's take a chance, take a chance. You don't have to push on an open door. It's like, okay, I actually like you, so. And I love the horns on that tune as well.
Yeah.
But don't know what you're waiting for. This could be the start of so much more.
And Storyland as well. Is there such a place as called Storyland?
Well, there used to be a place called Storyland. And be careful the stories you tell around a songwriter, let me say that.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, so the big thing here in North America, I'm in Canada, is the dream of every child was to go to Disneyland or Disney World, Disney theme park. And I grew up quite poor, and I knew I was never going to get the chance to go to Disneyland. But we had this little rinky-dink children's theme park here. And I tell you, I've learned since how rinky-dink it was. It was like these resin statues of like the 3 little pigs and the rabbit from Alice in Wonderland, just with picnic areas and park benches. It was nothing like, the Magic Kingdom, let's say, which I still haven't been to, and I don't think I will at this point. But so I begged and pleaded with various members of my family, please take me to Storyland. Can you take me to Storyland? And never, ever got to go. And now it's no longer there.
No.
I know. So now it's no longer there, and people have told me, yeah, you didn't miss very much. And that's not what the song is about. Dick has a way of using things as like a springboard to for his song. They're not necessarily literal, but take my hand, take me to Storyland, take all my cares away. So it's again another love song.
Have you played any of the songs live yet?
We have. We've been the album is released. Say album, is that still?
Yeah, come on.
Can I still say album?
Of course it is. The download just didn't sound good, did it?
No, exactly. So June 5th is the actual release, but we have released 2 singles so far, Money Man and Down on the Shoals, but the whole record will be June 5th. But we've been playing as Dick was writing songs. We started incorporating them into live shows that we've done here, kind of small combo live shows. Really, people are so like embracing and supportive. So it's really nice. I find personally often it's difficult for people to listen to music that they don't know. People like what they know. So to introduce brand new songs, it's like, hey, here's the song we've been working on for the new record, and it's gone really, really well. We're doing a celebration show here in mid-June for the record. Perhaps you can make it from Scotland. But it'll be like
you put me up.
Singers and horn section, and try to really recreate what we've done on the record. But people have been so good to us. I really have to say that. We have a really lovely group of, I don't know, I hesitate to use the word fans. I like more friends and supporters, but our fan base is really, really quite lovely. And I steal some of that from the Cooper brothers, which is nice. They have a very loyal fan base.
When he was writing the songs, did he have a live expectation of them? I mean, what it sounded like. How does he write the songs?
Dick is very much a studio guy. You know, if he as brilliant of a guitar player as he is, and he really truly is, he would rather never step on stage again ever.
All
Where
right.
he's more, he loves the studio, he loves the process, he loves, digging into it and tweaking it and listening and making sure everything's perfect. I kind of bring the other side to it, although now I'm realizing how much fun the studio can be. I'm come from more of a performance background, and I'm a Leo, I'm a big ham, I'm the youngest child, so pay attention to me. So it's a nice combo with us together. And it's insofar as like how the songs translate live. We've done them with a 4-piece combo with Dick on guitar, Rob Farrell, who the slide player I was telling you about, and then Rob Holtz, who's the drummer for the Cooper Brothers, but he'll do he has this whole percussion set up where he plays cajon, and so we'll do it just the four of us. And the songs, in my opinion, they hold up either way. So with this little 4-piece combo, with Rob and Rob doing some background vocals versus the 12-piece band with the horns and the backup singers and everything. That's exciting, but there's something a little more intimate about the pared down, and I think the songs kind of translate or suitable for either scenario, which is nice because the lyrics are great. The lyrics are really great. That's something I try very hard to articulate, the lyrics, because I think they're brilliant, and I want people to hear them when I sing them.
No, you really go for it in some of the songs. Your vocals are, you've got such a lovely vocal range. How do you keep your vocals strong?
I think, thank you. That's really nice of you to say that. I mean, I've been doing it a long time, so you learn tricks in how to pace yourself. I look at if you're a piano player and you're feeling like garbage, you can go and hit the keys and they're going to be, the notes are going to be there. But as a singer, you can't do that. So I do try to take care of myself. I try to, sleep well, eat well, all that kind of stuff, take my vitamins. And then I've been doing it long enough that like I know how to sing so that I'm not going to hurt myself. And I remember, the very first rock band that I was in and finishing the weekend like this because I didn't know how to pace myself, squeaking out the last notes of the end of the night. But I've learned, how to sing properly and how to take care of what I've got. I don't know if I'm hopeful that I'll be one of those people that is able to retain their instrument through the later years. Well, time will tell. But so far, so good.
And intimate venues or festivals, have you any preference where you play? Do you want to see the reds in their eyes?
Yeah, I have to tell you, having grown up with kitchen parties and my dad's friends and playing, to me, the more people, the better, because there's something about the and I've done many sort of intimate setting kind of things, but it's terrifying. It's really scary. People think, oh, how can you, if it's like a festival and thousands of people and it's like, no, that's better. That's better, because in such an intimate setting and when you're not singing, everyone's quiet and respectful and polite and clap, and when it's festival, there's somebody off getting a beer or going to get whatever and this and that, and it's like you get the people in the front and they're singing, they're paying attention, and I don't know, it's just there's less pressure. If you have singers out there that are watching, it's like when you're singing Happy Birthday, right? I promise you, the singers out there pretend to sing badly when they're singing Happy Birthday because they don't want to stick out. It's like, well, I'm not going to sing Happy Birthday if you're singing, so you sing. I don't know. It's there's more pressure when people are like all right there. So yeah, give me the big crowd.
Yeah. And where does blues come into your repertoire?
I suppose and I don't know if this is genuine for your blues purists, but my sort of first introduction to blues would be Janis Joplin. And I kind of tried to, I leaned towards singers that I could emulate, I suppose. And Coco Taylor and Etta James. And again, something that was kind of blues-ish, I would say, with like Mavis Staples and Tina Turner but I kind of lean more now towards the R&B end of, but Bonnie Raitt, come on, and now like people like Susan Tedeschi, holy cow, what a great voice she's got. I think just there's all I think when put it this way, when I was coming up and doing cover gigs and whatnot, Annie Lennox to me is a blues singer. As much as I would always try to, as I'm playing the bars and everything, doing the cover tunes, sound as much like the person that and with Janis Joplin that was a little tricky because to do that and not hurt your voice.
Yes.
Right. But what I found ends up happening is a little bit of that sticks, a little bit of that sticks on you. So, and again, it's back to people like what they know. And it's funny, I would get people coming up to me, you sound just like Janis Joplin. You sound just like Tina Turner. Oh, you sound just like, and I know I don't sound just like anybody, but I know that that's their favorite singer. And that means I did my job right, and I did.
Exactly. For you, what makes a good song?
What makes a good song? Oh, it depends who you're talking to, I suppose. Talk to Dick Clark, and he'd be like, "Oh, it's got a good beat, and I can dance to it." I don't know. I think a good song is something that comes from the heart, something that means something. I mean, I think "She Loves You, Yeah, Yeah, Yeah" is a great song, but "A Day in the Life" hits me harder. Something songs have made me cry. So like physically, if I now and again it happens, I'm listening to something and I'll get like goosebumps or the shivers. Like, whoa, this is affecting me in a physical way. So songs that can do that, and with lyrics that mean something, that are in whatever capacity that is. That's why I love working with Dick. His lyrics mean something, and so I'm lucky to have him in my corner. So that's what makes a good song, I think.
Yeah.
And great musicians.
And what's best advice you've had in your musical career?
Oh, well, that's interesting. I think insofar as being well, actually, you know what? One of the first pieces of advice, my mom was a singer, and she was more of a singer than I actually knew she was. I was just a little aside, but I was doing a gig at this outdoor patio in on the Quebec side here, and my Aunt Gail had come down from Pembroke, and she said, "Well, your mom used to sing. There's the courthouse is right there, and there was a band shell back there." And my mom was born in 1927, to give you some context. And your mom used to sing with a group back there. So, well, what do you mean? Because she'd never talked. I was the last of 8 kids. She was tired of talking by then, I suppose. But I remember she had told me that she'd sung with a group, and in my mind, it was like a group meant like a chorus, with the other singers. So I said, "Is that what you mean?" And she said, No, like you're singing here with the band. Your mom did that. Your mom was the girl singer in the band." What? She was? So giving you some context, one of the first pieces of advice my mom gave to me was sing from the heart, listen to the lyrics, and convey the emotion of what you're singing. That was a huge piece of advice. And I try to do that. With whatever I'm singing, to try to convey the emotion of the song. The other good piece of advice, and and it's kind of not a lead singer piece of advice, but insofar as harmony singing, if you're in the car or whatever, and you're listening to your tunes, once you know the song, never sing the lead vocal again. Always sing the harmony part, because whatever's on the radio or in your whatever you're listening to is never going to change. It's never going to waver. So that'll be solid. Then you can anchor yourself to it to learn how to sing harmonies. And that was a great piece of advice. So yeah, and just take care of yourself. Practice. Always come prepared. Always come. No, always come prepared. Never be the guy who hasn't done his homework. That's another piece of advice I got somewhere along the way, and that's served me very well. So.
And what about life on the road? Where's the strangest place you've played?
Oh my goodness gracious. There was a place in Yellowknife called the Strange Range, the Gold Range Hotel, I think it was called. They nicknamed it the Strange Range. Interesting folks up there. I don't know. I went to Italy for the weekend one time to do an armed forces tour. They flew us in to do a show for the Canadian Air Force in Aviano, Italy, the Air Force base there. And I was in my apartment on Thursday, and I was back in my apartment on Sunday. And I went, were we just in Italy? Like, was that that was pretty crazy, kind of the in and out thing that I've done. I've been lucky to do three and perform for the three branches of the Canadian military, the Navy, the Army, and the Air Force. I did a show in a few shows in Dubai for the Navy, and then in Bosnia and Croatia for the Canadian Army. So that was pretty neat. But I've played all over, from for prime ministers and governors general here to places that I wouldn't take my mother to, put it that way. Just where you kind of you get a pretty thick skin in some places, as the girl singer, in order to avoid altercations between the male band members and the audience sometimes, which in some kind of tough places, I had to be the one to stand up, go, hey, leave the gear alone, because if the guys did it, it would be, what do you mean?
Yeah.
But so yeah, I probably, yeah. I probably stood up to some people I should not have, but maybe.
And what about motivation? What keeps you motivated to keep singing and keep playing?
I think the motivation comes from just the music itself, and working with really great people. It's certainly not the money, but what motivated me in the very, very first place to pick up that guitar, or to take a chance and sing a solo. Those are the same things that still motivate me to want to get back in the studio and get on stage. It's the love of the music, and the realization that how lucky I am to be able to do it, and what a gift it is. So I never want to turn my back on that, and I think I just can't. I don't know. I think one way or another, in one form or another, they'll have to, pull me off stage with my walker, and it's like, okay, come on, let's go back to the home now. What do you mean? Well, the thing, I think Dick's already started writing again. I'm like, oh, okay, we're doing this again. Already started writing more songs. He's a prolific writer, and the fact that I get to sing his songs, I'm never ever going to turn down that opportunity. So doing some more live shows, supporting this record. We're excited to present it, and just keep on making music. It's a wonderful thing.
Absolutely. And have you got anything to say to the Blues Matters magazine reading public?
Well, thank you for taking the time to spend some time with me here in Canada, and check out the record. I think you might find something there that you'll enjoy, because we worked really, really hard on it. So I hope you do try to give it a listen.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Colin.
Thanks, Sarah. Bye the